Dr. Michael Brown ran into me at the Evangelical Theological Society conference in San Diego in November 2024. He asked if the two of us could carve out some time to sit down and talk together, apart from the crowd. I was surprised by the request, because I didn't know why he wanted to meet with me this time. In the past I had talked with Michael a number of times here and there, but he had never asked to speak with me without giving some specific reason. So we scheduled a conversation, and when we met again, we walked away from the conference center, landing on a bench in an open area that seemed far enough from the event to give us privacy. The first thing Michael did was ask me about a video I had recently done on the question of whether or not fallen pastors could be restored to ministry. He said he hadn't seen the video but wanted to know my basic opinion on the topic. The next thing he asked me was my opinion of the Roy's report. I told him that I thought they brought a net benefit to the kingdom, because they were helping expose some people who needed to be exposed. I also affirmed that it seemed like they had a personal agenda against some leaders, but I wasn't sure because the reporters possibly had info I didn't have, which they were not at liberty to share yet. Then he told me that he had been investigated by them over an indiscretion that happened sometime around 20 years ago. Michael led me to believe that this was an unfair investigation and that the Roy's report was digging for info that was properly dealt with long ago, and which did not indicate a pattern of behavior on his part. He also led me to believe that he and his wife had long ago reconciled with the woman in question, only to be surprised that she was coming up with not only correct accusations about resolved issues, but also new and inaccurate accusations. He told me that he heard she went to some kind of therapist or counselor who did memory recovery with her, and that this was likely why she was now accusing him of things he didn't do. So my impression from Michael Brown was that the woman was sharing information about their past together which was simply untrue, and resulted from bad counseling practices from someone else, which fabricated memories and false accusations. I don't now recall the exact wording from Michael, whether he said that he knew she had done memory recovery work, or that he just heard that she did. But it was clear to me that according to him, she was sharing fabricated information. He also told me about how traumatizing this whole situation was for him. He lamented about how much power the Roy's report had to undermine years of his ministry with reporting about him that was either inaccurate or otherwise misleading. Michael told me that he was so distraught about this situation that he was on the ground, crying before the Lord over it. I did not know at the time that he had kissed the young woman on the lips or some of the other details that have since come out. The impression I got from what Michael Brown said was that this was merely an overstep of too much familial affection, and had long ago been addressed with the parties involved with full resolution. He led me to believe that the current investigation was ultimately fueled by distortions in the mind of the woman, who I now know is Sarah. He further led me to think that it turned out that the Roy's investigation had too little to go on, and so the article was not going to be published. Michael also mentioned that he had some inappropriate written correspondence with another woman around that same time, but that this was also dealt with and repented of properly and with his wife's knowledge. And so from what I could tell, all this was far in the past and never repeated. After this talk, Michael Brown asked me if it was okay for us to take a picture together. I took pictures with dozens of people at the conference and had no problem taking one with him. However, I was surprised that he asked for the photo, as he had never asked for one before, even when he could have. That picture was put on social media, and I shared it, which didn't seem like a big deal. We have different beliefs on charismatic issues, and I am openly opposed to some leaders he is buddies with, but our disagreements are known from my public teaching, so I wasn't concerned about the photo. After the picture went online, a friend contacted me to share knowledge about the situation with Sarah and more information regarding Michael Brown. The friend warned me that Michael had been making the rounds, calling all kinds of people and doing damage control ahead of the article, which he knew was going to be released, against my own expectations after talking with him. Had I known the real story of what happened, I would never have been okay with taking a photo together to be shared online. I now think I was being manipulated by Michael and callously used as a tool for his own reputational damage control. I confronted him about this over text message, and he assured me that wasn't the case, but I don't believe him. I am now awaiting the public results of the investigation, and want to see the truth openly dealt with. If it is not properly addressed, then I will conduct my own investigation or aid others in theirs, because through Michael Brown's actions, I have been brought into this situation. I could add that information I have learned since then also shows that he was not straightforward with me about the nature of his relationship with the woman in the letters. I was shocked to discover that he told this woman to stop being intimate with her husband. Since our meeting, I have spoken to some people who were involved in Michael's ministry many years ago, when he was abusing his spiritual leadership role in the life of Sarah, in order to cross moral lines with her, as well as when he had intimate correspondence with another man's wife. These witnesses confirmed to me that matters were far worse than Michael led me to believe. I'm also convinced that the information about false memories being planted in Sarah's mind was slander against her, further victimizing her after the fact, and that I was made a party to such victimizing, and misled by it as a potential ally of Dr. Brown because I have a large online following. I've been told that I am the only person Michael led to think Sarah had fabricated memories, and I consider this a very serious issue. I believe his request to talk with me at the conference a deliberate attempt to mislead me, so that I could be a pawn in his damage control. If this report of my meeting with Brown is not shared publicly by the investigation that his ministry has done, or shared by Ron Cantor and his team, then I will go public and share it on my own. I may do so anyways if it seems necessary, although I would rather communicate my testimony as part of a larger investigation with multiple witnesses, as that's the better way for the truth to be revealed.